And we are live. Dr. Lior Zoref. It's so wonderful to see you and welcome to You've Got Mel.
Thank you so much. Great being here.
It's wonderful. Oh, it's so good to see you. Before I play the jingle, we have to remember to thank the wonderful person who introduced us, and that is Dr. Yossi Vardi. So, Yossi, thank you for introducing me to the world's most incredible people, and today we have one of those top individuals on the show. So, Lior, are you ready for the jingle?
I'm not sure now how to do it, so I will follow
No,
you.
no. Okay. I have to share. We'll stop other participants. Yes, sure. Um, okay. Here we go. We are ready for the jingle. Here we go.
Get a chair, grab a seat, or we'll sweep you off your feet. We move, we groove, you got Mel. Ease your legs, rest a while, all you gotta do is smile. We're swell, can't you tell, you got Mel. When the show begins, you better hold on real tight, or before you know it, you'll be high as a kite. Take a break, settle down, we're the only show in town. SRO, don't you know, you got Mel. Give it up, don't think twice, we're a hurricane on ice. What the hell, give a yell, ring your bell, show and tell. Mademoiselle, give a smell, you got Mel.
You've got Mel.
So
And
nice.
Mel has the wonderful Dr. Lior Zoref. I'm sure you've thought about this, but I only thought about it right now. Your name in Hebrew, Zoref, is a jeweler.
Yeah.
And it also, there's another meaning to the word Zoref in Hebrew, which is connector. And you are an international connector. So whoever named you Zoref did a good job. I want to start with your famous Shidurei. You used to do video broadcasts
Yeah.
way back in the day with Yossi Taguri. And you have one famous issue or a sequence when you're talking about appearing at TED.
Yeah.
Let's start there.
Do you want me to show it?
I don't know. Can you share screen?
I
It's in
think
Hebrew. It's in Hebrew. No,
I
no.
have English subtitles.
Tell us about it. Tell us about it. I want to hear you.
So we had a video blog. I think it was even before the word vlog was invented. It was very, we did experiments. We did it without any target, just to have fun. And
I stole the idea. You've got Mel is very much the same, right?
exactly. And, thinking back, I think that this vlog created a turning point in my life without I being aware of that during the time. Because at the beginning, many people, I don't know why, but many people saw that. And I started to earn a living as an independent consultant and being invited to speak. But the biggest turning point that completely changed my life was one time when Yossi and I attended our first TEDx event that was held in Tel Aviv. And in just a spur of the moment, I confessed that I have a dream of maybe one day I'll speak at TED, maybe after I'll finish my PhD, who knows, maybe in 10 years. Being at TED, it's such an inspiring experience, especially the first TED event. So that moment, the dream was created. It wasn't that this was something I had since I was a kid. Just the same day, I watched other talks and I was so inspired and I said, wow, maybe one day. And he made fun of me and said, there's no chance. Actually, I think, let me show it just a small part,
Okay,
a few
one second.
seconds.
But before you show it, and I'll just say something that I don't know whether you remember this. So Yossi Taguri came up to me afterwards, and he said, "Mel, maybe we should we should get 5 or 6 or 7 people. Each one will give $1,000, and we'll have a hagrala, a roulette, and one of us will go to the TED." I don't know whether you remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do, because the ticket price was so expensive, but that was just
As a guest.
as a guest, not as a speaker. And the wonderful thing is that when you are being invited to speak, you are also a guest. But here's a very short clip from that moment that changed my life.
I have a dream. איך כל אחד מהמרצים פה סיים בחלום שלו.
כן,
אני רוצה
כן.
שאנחנו נציג בטד. לא בשנה הבאה, אולי לא בעוד שנתיים,
כן.
אבל אנחנו נהיה שם על הבמה. וכשאנחנו נעשה את זה, יוסי, אתה יודע מה אנחנו נעשה?
מה אנחנו נעשה?
אנחנו נציג את הוידאו הזה. כשניצורים יפים, כשחלמנו
אין
להציג...
שום סיכוי שמישהו ייתן לנו לעלות על במה בטד, אין שום סיכוי. למה? זה עדיף שתמלא לוטו, יש לך סיכוי יותר גדול לזכות בלוטו. האמריקאי, יש לך יותר סיכוי. גם הוא אומר, אין לך סיכוי לזכות בלוטו, אין לך שום סיכוי להיות בטד.
Yeah, so that
I have a
moment,
dream. איך כל אחד...
that moment completely changed my life. I wasn't aware of that. And if you can see, I was so insulted. And I didn't ask people for help. I just, told everyone, or told him, not everyone. I was looking at him. I'm not sure I was aware that we recorded that. We had a conversation similar to the conversation we're having right now. And I just, I said, let's confess about my dream. And I was insulted. I was angry. I was insulted. I should kiss Yossi for that moment that he made fun of me, because then what I learned happening is that so many people were touched by this very intimate and true moment that someone is telling someone, I have a dream, and he tells you, no way. We know that so many people around us tell us there is no way you will make your dream come true. Since we are kids, you need to go through a specific path, and everyone tell you, you should go to school, you should go to university, you should go do this and do that. And sometimes we have other dreams and aspirations. So I think that moment touched many people because it's so true. It could be your friends, your parents, anyone who makes fun of you, or maybe they are polite. Yossi is not polite. Yossi is very honest and true. So he told me what he thought without thinking about it. But most people will be polite. They will feel that you're crazy and there's no way you're going to do it, but they will not tell you. So he gave me a big present by shouting at me and telling me there's a bigger chance of you winning the lottery. And then I just started.
Lior, in the psychology of creativity, these people are called tormentors. These are the people who tell you, you have mentors. So you are my mentor. We can get to that later. But the tormentors are the ones sometimes that egg us on to do great things, just to show them that we can, right?
Yeah. And he took that role and he did it perfectly. So then I started to get ideas, and Maya El Halal, the wonderful Maya, told me about the audition for TED. And then that was a huge turning point. But it all started by having fun with a video blog without any clear target.
Yeah, but Lior, you went to Europe to audition, and then to New York.
To New York, yeah. The audition was.
It wasn't just something that you said on the camera. You actually went the 9 yards, right?
Yeah, it started with a 1-minute video that I've sent them. And then they told me, that's nice. I learned later that more than 800 people applied with 1-minute video, and they described what they do. And I think they invited about a dozen or so to New York for an audition. So I went to New York, which was an amazing experience. I was scared to death. I was terrified, even more than the actual TED Talk, because it was an audition. I was alone. I was scared. I thought people will not understand me. It's difficult to understand how much, your heart is beating, that you can even not catch a breath. I was really scared. But it was an amazing, amazing experience. And after the audition, I think that 3 of us were invited to speak at the Big TED conference in Long Beach, California.
It's incredible. And I don't know whether I deserve any credit, but I helped connect you with Michael Waits and Abigail.
Yes,
Uh,
such an amazing connection.
what role did they play here in this saga?
Uh, Michael and Abigail are dear friends since you introduced us, and they were helping me to prepare towards my TED Talk. So it started by being mentors to me, and we worked before the audition, and we worked after the audition, and I learned so much from them, and they were so passionate. They are still about TED, and I was fortunate to give them a very big present back to them. I don't know if you know the story, but after I came back from TED, so Michael and Abigail, they coach speakers and they mentor speakers, and they are a big fan of TED. And during that time, they were coaching TEDx events. And when I came back from TED, we sat to have, we had lunch, and I asked them, so, Michael and Abigail, you're wonderful at what we're doing, but what is your dream? And they said, obviously, our dream is to coach at the big TED event, not TEDx. So I asked them, so why don't you do that? And they said, what do you mean? How can we do that? I said, I don't know, maybe try, send an email, try to investigate. How can you do that? And they said, okay. So they sent a few emails, and I'm not sure I know the exact story of what happened, but one of the emails got, I think it was the head of TED Global at the time, and he said, hey, yes, we can use some help. And then this is how they started the journey to become the official TED speaker coach. And I think that this created also a turning point in their career. So I was very happy to have a small part on this change.
Amazing.
And
So,
thank you for the connection, Mel. That was a wonderful connection.
I got to tell you, I connected you because I love you and I love them. But, like, I never thought you were going to do this. I mean, it's like, of course, go for it, and everybody will help you. So I got to tell you that I was so pleasantly surprised when this dream came true. We all have that dream. I dreamt of speaking at TED for many years, and you actually made it happen. So you passed the audition in New York, and then you came back to Long Beach, California, and you're very famous for one particular thing that you did during your talk.
Yeah. Again, it wasn't my idea. I got that idea from someone else, from Or Sagi. He was just
You
16 years old.
you
But
got how you kind your whole talk was getting ideas from the world.
exactly.
That
The
was
talk
great.
was a crowdsourced talk about crowdsourcing. So it got famous because I had an ox on the stage, and I asked people, what is the ox weight? That was a very fun experiment. That wasn't the main message. I think the ox was just a gimmick. The main message is that, the big crowds can be very intelligent, can be amazing, like a genius, and can help us solve problems. So the problem of guessing an ox weight is a very small problem, but it's interesting enough. So people were surprised that suddenly there is an ox, a big, huge ox on stage. That was a unique moment. Yes.
And even more amazing that the average,
Yeah.
like 1,000 people in the audience, were able to together guess the weight of that ox.
I'm still surprised that this happens today when I am invited to speak, to give virtual keynotes. I have an ox on Zoom. So I have a friend near the Kinneret, and he brings an ox, and we do the same experiment. And every time it surprises me that it works. Every time I'm a little bit scared. But when you have a big enough crowd and a diverse crowd, it's like magic.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So that is part of your PhD, isn't it? And you went on to write a book.
Yes, so I earned my PhD in the education department in Bar-Ilan University with Professor David Pasig. And my PhD is how we use collective intelligence in Facebook and in social networks. I wrote a book about the topic. I was, again, very, very lucky to publish the book with Penguin in the US, and it was translated to many languages. Again, I feel so fortunate. It's a story I can't still, I'm still contemplating. How is it that, I still get emails from people in Korea, in China, in so many far places, in Malaysia, after reading the book still today. And they tell me, I had a Zoom meeting with someone in the US just a week ago who just finished my book and told me, Lior, I must meet with you. And I told him, you know what, we have Zoom, let's meet. So getting all this feedback still from people all around the world that learn and being inspired is amazing.
It is really incredible. And you gave back to me about 8 years ago when you told me that I should take my writing seriously, and I am, and that's to your credit. I'm not a famous writer yet, but I've had success on TED Ed. So that's kind of funny. I never thought about it. But I have three animations on TED Ed that were
Wow.
seen by almost 8 million people.
That's so nice. So that's
And,
wonderful.
and even though I'm basically trying to write children's books, but the TED Ed was like a offshoot of this, suggested by Roy Sternin, who's also from the TEDx community. And so this was a great payback that I'm grateful to you for yelling at me that day. Mel, you're not taking your dreams seriously. So you're certainly a person who takes dreams seriously. Now
I think that, probably one of the greatest missions or the purpose in my life is to help other people create a turning point in their lives, make people, there is this wonderful book I have here. This is not a Zoom background.
I was sure that was a Zoom background.
No,
It's too beautiful.
It's the top 5 regrets of the dying. You probably heard about it. A nurse that was taking care of people before they died with mostly serious illnesses. And she asked them, what do you regret? And she found that there are 5 things that come back from what they tell her. And then top one is I lived the life that others expected of me. I didn't follow my own dreams. No one wants to die with that regret, I think. This is why I was yelling at you. And I'm so lucky to get people come back to me now that I'm doing it for a long time and tell me that I have a small part in the change they have in their life. That's a very big present I get from you and from others. And I feel fortunate for that.
Yes, I thank you. We've had a wonderful friendship. Now I want to bring you, if you want to, back to that evening in Nazareth, where you, maybe for the first time, told us about your childhood.
Yes, so you were talking about Kinernet, which is a wonderful, very unique event hosted by Yossi Vardi. And it's an unconference, so everyone brings himself to the table. And I shared the story of my childhood, which took me a long time to have the guts to share, because I still have a scar, because I was a geek, a nerd, without almost any friends, because back then computers or personal computers just started. It was this new, unique stuff that no one really understood, and I got hooked to that. And I was very short. I had pimples. no one wanted to be the friend of this geek kid, except for one friend. And even his name is Ori, and even he stopped being my friend after a few years. And most of my childhood years, I thought that life sucks and that nothing will come out of me. My grades were low, except computers. Mostly I studied by myself, but in all the others, in math and others, very low grades. So I thought that, something is wrong with me. Probably people are right. Nothing will come out of me. I'm not that smart. I don't have friends. I'm alone. Life sucks. This is how it's going to be also in the future. When we are kids, we don't have the perspective that things might and will change. This is what I know. This is my life. This is what I remember. This is how it's going to be. Life sucks. And today, when I meet many students, I see that there are many, many, many kids today, especially during COVID, even before COVID, that have the same feeling that nothing will come out of them. I was very fortunate that this friend of mine that stopped being my friend, Ori Eisen, sent me a message.
You tracked him down as an adult.
I didn't track him down. He's very successful.
He tracked
me. He's very successful. He sold a few startups. Now we have another startup. And one of his employees, Karen Dayan, she worked with me at Microsoft. And one day she mentioned me. And he told her, "What do you mean, Lior? I know him." So she connected us, and he wrote to me on Facebook and said, "Hey, let's meet." And I'm not sure I even ever told that story, but we were in New York. So I went to New York to give a keynote. I have another talk later. So I have 2 talks just for 2 days. And he told me, "Lior, let's meet." And he was traveling to New York, and I told him, "I don't have much time. So tomorrow I'm going back to Tel Aviv, but this evening I give another talk in a private house I think it was in New Jersey. So why don't you come to my talk?" It's a group of Jewish people. It was, the first keynote was very big in Times Square, but the second one was very small. So why don't you come? And after that, let's go for a drink. So he came. He was standing at the far end, and he was listening to me. And then I told the story of me being a kid without friends. And that was the first time that he understood that he had a very big part of me not having friends. Because what happened, and I learned it later, that everyone in this class told him that if you will continue to be Lior's friend, we will stop being your friend. So he stopped being my friend, and I didn't know until that evening that there was an organized boycott on me. I wasn't aware of that. I just knew that I don't have any friends, and I didn't know why. So he was sitting back crying, understanding the impact he had on my life without me knowing that yet. And after my keynote, he told me, "Lior, we need to talk." So we went back to my hotel. I think it was a Madison Square, at Times Square. What's the name of this famous hotel in the middle of Times Square?
The Marriott, the Times
Marriott, yeah. They have an amazing lounge, I think in the 11th floor or something like that.
Yeah, I know that place.
Yeah. So
Times something Marriott. It'll come to me.
Yeah, and you see the views of Times Square. You can order something to drink or to eat. And I stayed at that hotel, so we went there. We had something to drink. I remember it. I have goosebumps. We were sitting there, and he told me, "Lior, I'm the one who decided not to be your friend because of the pressure from other friends." And when you told that story a few hours ago, I realized how much I hurt you. And we started to cry, both of us. I think we said there it was like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I had an early morning flight or something like that, but we were just crying, and it was, you know, an evening I wouldn't forget forever. And of course he said, "I'm so sorry. I apologize. Will you forgive me?" And of course I forgave him, and we are best friends back together. I love him so much. He just emailed me, when can we meet again, once you know, flights will resume, hopefully. So I had this closure. Again, very fortunate to have someone go back and tell me what happened, because I didn't know that. My parents didn't know that, because I was ashamed to tell them that I have no friends, because I thought it's my fault. And going back to kids today, many kids think it's their fault, especially now when, you know, many of them, when they go to school, they have Zoom lessons and they don't get it. Even my kids, my own kids, you know, my middle son name is Ori, by the way. You know, before Ori got to me, it was like the name Ori was in here. So we made him Ori, and he studies math in Zoom, and he doesn't understand. He just, you know, came back with a very low grade in math, and he's so smart. Before COVID, he got straight A's, and there are so many kids today think that something is wrong with them. They're stupid. They're not. It's so difficult to learn using Zoom. It's, you know, it's something that we expect them to do. Of course, this is how you learn, but it doesn't work. So going back to Ori, it's an amazing closure. It's a gift that took me some time to share with others. So it started at Kinernet, but today I share that story, and I find that it gives so much hope to so many people. And,
Yeah. Well,
and especially...
let's thank Chagai Cohen, because those evenings of storytelling, the what do we call it? Stories, spirit, and the song. He started that. Oh, I remember it so well. And you know, and then and you influenced several people, because a year or two later, I also gave a talk like that on, you know, my real difficulties, because we rarely talk about it. And you were so forthcoming. We all cried, and I'm sure you touched many people's hearts then. And now you have a whole project that's dedicated to this. And
Uh,
and you didn't even accept me. Tell us about that. I've been rejected again.
Yeah, I didn't accept you. That's right. But so it's you know, since I came back from TED, many people invited me to speak at schools. Of course, I always volunteered to do that, and then more and more people came back to me, more teachers, more schools, and I started to ask, why do you bring me always to the, you know, the best students, the best kids, you know, those with the highest grades? Where are the kids that do not succeed at school? So they always told me, no, we bring you to the, you know, to the future scientists, the future leaders. Those are the best people. You speak to them, and we bring them, not only you, we have Nobel Prize winners and others, and, you know, those are the best of the best. And I always thought to myself, so I wouldn't get in there. I wasn't considered the best of the best, probably the lowest of the lowest. So I started to insist and go and speak to those with low grades, and I found that almost no one comes to speak to them. They have no budget for that, no programs for that. They invest a lot in trying to teach them math and other, get good grades with exams, but usually they don't succeed. Many of them have low grades. And I thought to myself, I'm not enough. There are so many of them, you know, out of 10 kids in Israel, 2 are being considered youth at risk. And there are more of them that are not considered officially youth at risk, but school is not for them. they suffer so much. So there are those who have a good experience at school, which is wonderful, but there are many who are lost. Probably they need to go to an art school or something else, but you know, the common way that school is built is not for everyone. So those who are lost are the one who I'm interested in. I'm trying to create a turning point in their life and show them that I was like them, and no one is allowed to tell them nothing will get out of you. No one. It's like malpractice. You need to go to jail for that. If you go to a kid and tell them nothing will come out of you, I think that there should be a law against that. Who are you to say something like that? And I had teachers telling me that, I had friends telling me that. So I decided to create a non-profit venture called Yesh Matzav, or Yes You Can, and audition other speakers that are very successful, but, and this is why I didn't accept you, in order for the kids to transform, they need to see someone who is like them. They need to see someone who had so many struggles, who had low grades, and people told him nothing will come out of you. So, for example, Yael Arad, the Olympic winner from Israel in judo, she wanted to go to speak with kids at the school, and I asked her, "How was your youth?" And she said, "Okay." So I told her, "I'm sorry, but you're not accepted." And I say that to many people like yourself who are amazing and do great things, but there is something that needs to happen, that a kid sits at school and says, if he succeeded after having so much trouble, maybe I can succeed. And today we have wonderful people, really, that, you know, just now, one of them, Yossi Sassi, gave a talk in one school in Kiryat Gat. So they give talks, then they volunteer to do that in schools. And we also have live broadcasts with more famous people to schools. Our next speaker, I think it's next week or in 2 weeks, is a professor, a doctor, the head of the, I think it's in Wolfson Hospital, had one of the units, and he was himself, he was kicked out of many schools. Everyone told him nothing will come out of you. He was really the typical youth at risk. His mother died at a very young age, and he was lost, and today he is head of the department. He's going to speak with kids and share his story. So this is what we do, and I get, today when I hear teachers tell me about the impact on the kids, you know, that's amazing. And I hear that all the time. Teacher come and tell me, here's a student that is attending the program, and last year they heard one talk and this changed their life. And now they have good grades. They know what they want to do in the future. They are motivated. It completely changed their life. This is a turning point, and we have a model how to do that. But it doesn't happen to everyone. But in a class of 20 or 30 students, maybe one, that's enough. That's enough to change the lives of another one child. So I invest a lot of time. This became my mission and my purpose in life, and I enjoy it so much.
It's incredible. And okay, so I'm kind of happy to be rejected because my childhood was difficult for other reasons. But you should try and get my brother, David. We never thought he would amount to anything in his life. He was insulted by teachers, low grades, and to make a very long story short, he ended up becoming chief economist at Merrill Lynch in North America.
Wow.
So
sounds very interesting. This is the kind of stories I'm looking for. So share with me the information. I'll be very happy.
You should connect with brother Dave, who's now very, very successful and very busy. We're all very proud of him, and really nobody expected anything of that kid. So I'm going to recommend him for your project.
Thank you so much.
So another thing that so I've learned a lot of things from you, and I'm incredibly grateful for our friendship. And as our wonderful talk grows to a close, how important, I'm going to ask you to do two things.
Okay.
Um, I'm starting a course next week uh, on how young people should swallow the future. It's called Nihul Karriera Bidana Technologi, which really translates in how to be amazing in the era of computers. What's your best advice for young people, young college people, to succeed in this uncertain world? Just a couple of tips.
Don't expect shortcuts. The road is long. You need to work hard. It doesn't come easy. As long as you have the persistence, if you want to succeed, you need to pay the price. You need to invest the hours. You need to try. You need to fail. And everyone fails so many times. Learn from your failures and don't give up. I think that most people, when you see their success, you are not aware of how many years they had before they succeed. Today, when I meet with so many successful people, I'm amazed to learn about the struggle. So it's a long way, it's a long path. So I'm also teaching, I start my course also next week. So I think that as teachers, the gift we can give them is to motivate them to understand that they can be successful, but they need to work hard and not be spoiled. Don't expect this to be something easy. When I graduated from the Technion, I went to my MBA, so I started to learn at a college that everything was very easy. It was a private college where you could earn a degree easily. And then I worked at Microsoft and I wanted to have my MBA, and it sounds reasonable while I have a career to go on the easy path. After a few months, I resigned. I went back to the Technion the hard way, and I earned my MBA over there in the period of 5 years. Go the hard way. No shortcuts.
And you did get on that airplane with all your fear and trepidation to do the audition.
Yeah. The
So
other thing you need to learn is that fear is not going away. You are going to be scared. Everyone are scared. You are scared. I have so many fears. There's no magic for that. You need to understand that when you do something out of your comfort zone, you are going to be scared because it's new and you fear failure, which is something everyone feels. The trick is to do it while you are scared and try to practice and prepare before that. But there's no magic that gets fear out. And if you're not scared of that, then it's not important to you. So fear is also a good thing.
absolutely, which brings me to the last point, and you just kind of like, it was like you knew what was coming. Do you know what's coming now?
No,
Do you like the Beatles, Lior?
of course.
Do you have like a favorite song?
Yes. Well, it's trivial for me. Imagine.
Okay, it's a John Lennon song, and I'm going to ask you now to go outside your comfort zone and sing a bit of it.
You don't want me to sing, believe it. I'm such an awful singer.
Yeah, no, there's no such thing as an awful singer. There's only awful listeners.
If you'll sing, I'll join you.
I will pretend to sing. It starts, imagine.
Let me see if I know the words.
Okay, I'll give you that.
I think I have them here. Yes. Yes, so the words, I start singing, but mostly I think I'll read them because, again, my singing is not just good, but the words are so wonderful.
There's a reason that I want you to sing.
Why is that?
Well, because it's again going outside your comfort zone.
Okay, let me
I mean,
go
if you
out.
ask me to sing, I'm happy. I want you to show the world that you can live, Go outside your comfort zone and sing. And trust me, when I was doing my master's, I was singing some song, and another girl there said, Mel, you can't sing worth beans. You sing off key, and I didn't sing for over 20 years. I wrote a children's book about that, which I will send to you. Because this is the terrible thing. Everybody can sing.
Until you'll hear me. But I'll give it a try if you want me to go out of my comfort zone. The first time I'm singing very terribly, but I'll do that. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us, only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will be as one.
You sing beautifully. Not all of us can be John Lennon or Paul McCartney, but Lior, you surprised me. You really sing very lovely.
Thank you. I'm more into playing, so I play the piano and I like jazz like you and
course.
enjoy very much music, yes. But not singing, mostly playing. And one of my dreams, which I never told anyone publicly, so I'll share it with you, is probably when I'm 60, I want to have a very small jazz band, a trio. I'll be on the piano with a bass and drums. And I know that this is something I want to do, not now, but probably in 10 or 20 years.
So there you go, and I will be there for you. I hope.
Thank you very much.
So listen, Dr. Lior Zoref, this was wonderful. Thank you very much. I know how busy you are. It was so wonderful having you on the show. And I look forward to the day, Imirza Hashem, coming very soon, where I can give you a big giant hug.
Me too.
Take care, my friend.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Mel.
Bye. Thank you.